Grandma and I were sitting on the porch the other night watching the sunset, and she was telling me some stories from when she was younger. So I grabbed my camera and I captured some of the interesting stories she was telling me so that I could share it with you all. I hope you enjoy Grandma's stories. So Mom, do you have any interesting stories that you could share with us from like maybe when you were younger?
I'm 76. I'm going to be 77 in August. And I was born in 1947, which will mean nothing to you younger people. To older people, it was a different time. It was like right after the war. Things were changing big time. And we lived in what they called the projects. They were...
Why don't you tell everyone where you like lived? You were in Michigan, right? But
Detroit.
like, oh, you lived right in Detroit?
Yeah, right
okay.
in Detroit. By 7 Mile and Van Dyke.
7 Mile and Van Dyke.
They had all these, they called them the projects. What they were, the government built them for all the workers they brought up from down south to work in the war plants.
Uh-huh.
So we just stayed there. I don't think my dad had, I mean, he had a factory job, but, back then you got laid off. You didn't get unemployment and stuff like that. And they had 3 kids, so it wasn't easy.
How long did you guys live in these projects?
5 years.
And did you get like help, like food and things from the government to help you survive?
No.
You got nothing?
No. Not until the 50s, and then if you got laid off, you got free cheese, government cheese, and powdered milk.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah. So
Lived in the projects.
yes, and they were poorly built. I mean, on a really windy day, the walls would move.
Mm-hmm.
So, we ate and had clothes. We weren't desolate, but it was not easy for my parents,
So what did your mom and dad do for a living?
My mom had odd jobs because, she had 3 young children. And my father worked in a factory. It was called Zimmerman's, and it was something you guys don't know about. He was a polisher. On the old cars, all the stuff on it was made out of chrome, like the bumpers and all that.
So
chrome.
So his job was to polish those bumpers and stuff.
Dirty job.
So like on the cars, when they were making cars,
the parts, and then
parts for cars. He polished the chrome parts for cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, when I was 5, his plant moved down south. So, we were out of luck.
Oh, so he lost his job.
Yeah.
Why didn't you guys move down south?
Oh no, everybody was coming up north.
But his plant moved down south.
And they didn't have it. They were moving down there because it was cheap labor. So.
Okay. So then what did he do?
I don't know for sure. Just worked find jobs at odd shops, little independent shops. One thing that happened back then, we had what you'd call a sheeny man. Now, some people know what that is, but he was an old man, and he had a wagon, and he had all kinds of stuff, like some food and different things for the kitchen and stuff, and then he'd go through the neighborhood pulled by a horse.
Oh wow, that's cool.
And he'd have some fruit and that, and one of those scales, and it would, rock back and forth. And I think he said something, but I can't remember, to bring the people outside.
Did he have a bell or something?
Yeah, something. But believe me, they don't have that anymore. But
what did you call him? A sheeny man?
A sheeny man.
Sheeny man.
Yeah.
In the olden days.
Yeah.
We're interrupted with our story time. So what were you saying? What else you remembered?
So, there's 2 things I remember. I would, like I said, I was only 5 when we moved, but my oldest brother, broke his leg somehow. I don't know how. And my dad had to sell our car to get his leg fixed.
Oh, wow. I think you told me about that.
They didn't have insurance back then.
Wow.
Like they do now.
So you sold the car to get your brother's leg fixed, and then what'd you guys do?
We walked. until they could buy another one.
Do you know how long it took to buy?
No, I was only 5. But the other thing that I remember about walking was the kids used to be, they'd be some on one side of the street and some on the other, and they'd have rock fights, believe it or not, throwing rocks at each other.
Oh my God.
I was too young to play, but I was watching, and I got hit in the mouth, and it knocked one of my baby teeth out. So
How old were you when you were watching the rock fights?
4.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But the part, we had a wagon, and I just picture my mom pulling the wagon. I was in the wagon, and my 2 brothers were walking along, and we had to walk, I'd say a mile to the dentist so he could, pull it out because it was all jagged and that.
Oh.
So.
And this was in Detroit.
Yep.
Around what year?
Well, it had been 1951.
Was that before the Detroit riots?
Oh, God,
The riots were in the 60s, right?
Well,
Late
Detroit
60s?
had some riots back. It was either during the war or shortly after. I'm in 67.
Those were the big riots that,
Yeah,
the city just burned down, right?
Yeah, and they were having them all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those because then I was, older and working and stuff.
Yeah, but I've always been taught, and Dad always told me, Detroit was like a bustling city that you guys used to go to a lot when you were young for shopping. It was beautiful.
Yeah, J.L. Hudson's.
And then after those riots in the 60s, it was just
Everybody moved out.
everyone moved out. Stores closed down, and it was just no longer
Right. But
a destination for people in Metro Detroit.
It's starting to come back now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. In fact, that's when, not everybody, but a lot of people lived in Detroit. And when they started moving out, that's when we got the suburbs, like Warren. That was people from Detroit.
Right. There's some beautiful houses in Detroit.
God, yeah.
We took a tour last summer, and just beautiful mansions and just beautiful homes.
Yeah. They're still there, and people are buying them again and fixing them up.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so Grandma said she had one more story to tell me.
yeah.
And it was about your bike.
Yeah.
And
I
how
was
old were you?
5 years old.
Okay.
We still lived in the projects, and it was Christmas. And as you can probably tell, we didn't get much for Christmas, but I think my dad must have had a pretty good job at the time. And we got up Christmas morning, and it was like you see on TV. Sitting in the living room was 3 brand new bikes.
Wow.
One for each of us.
Wow, shiny new bikes.
I had that bike until I was 18 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
What color was it?
Oh, aqua.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that's why that's still your favorite color.
Maybe. And of course, my brothers were black,
Yeah.
But, wow.
So did your brothers keep their bikes that long too?
Oh, no.
They crashed them or
Oh,
something?
yeah, crashed them.
Did you ride that bike to school?
Oh, no.
Oh.
When we moved, the school was only 2 blocks away.
Tell everyone where you moved to.
Oh, we moved to Hazel Park.
Hazel
which-
Park, Michigan.
Yeah. Borders Detroit
Uh-huh.
at 8 Mile Road.
8 Mile Road.
Yeah. And they were putting, that was just not a country, but trees and, and they were subdividing. And it was a new subdivision. And we moved there.
So you walked to school, then you didn't ride your bike?
No, we didn't back then. I never had to ride a bike or take a bus the whole time I was in school. The high school was only 2 blocks away.
That's nice.
I know. And the junior high was 2 blocks away. And grade school was 3 blocks away.
Yeah, that's really nice. Okay, I guess Grandma and I were done with the stories. I hope you guys enjoyed getting to know Grandma a little more and enjoyed her stories. And we're going to enjoy the rest of our time out here on the porch and watch the sun go down. And I'll show you all. It's so pretty out here this time of night.